RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are back at it again for a Wednesday night live stream. And I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on a lot of the noise that's taking place right now that's really intensifying as we get closer towards the presidential election. So we're about 3 weeks away, give or take, and apparently there'll be no second debate. So as of tomorrow, there'll be some town hall meetings that be held at the same time, but it looks like the American people might get shafted off getting a chance to see a presidential debate, which is not common at all. But could this play into more of what we've been talking about, some type of October surprise, or is all this rattling, all this noise a setup, or is it just a distraction, a cover up from the real problems going on around the economy and that so-called recovery? So looking forward to getting your thoughts on all this subject matter. Got a couple articles I want to share with you, and then we'll definitely open up the phone line so I can hear from you. So any new viewers, let me know where you're watching from. Would definitely love to acknowledge your presence in the chat and welcome you to the community. And then let's get right into it. So we have, let me see, Solo checking in. It says, I have no clue. Mike, let us know. Oh, so yeah, so my goal is basically to share my thoughts. And of course, I can just tell you, right up front, I believe it's more of a distraction than actually going to lead to something that will really be truth-telling outside of what we already knew. We knew, Biden himself is a part of the so-called deep state because he's been in this for as Trump always says, 47 years. So he's a part of the problem that needs to go. But yet, once again, I'm not sold that Trump is the answer. But if you have between those two, which it looks like we have, we take what we, you take what you can get, basically is what I'm saying. Anyway, so we got Barley Broker, we got Renee, we got Jay, we got Army of One, we got Jim, Jay Graham from Shasta, California. Says Biden 47 years has done nothing. Yeah, and but once again, he's been put forth as the representative for the Democratic Party, as well as appears to be the favorite of a lot of Americans. So we'll see. Says Trump was best friends with JFK Jr. Yeah, I heard that a lot of times as well. So, outside of the friendship, I heard that there was some type of promise, that was given about having to or trying to bring justice to what has been done to the family. And so, yeah, once again, I don't know. We're going to find out. But I'm just, very interested in how all this is seeming to come to the light right now. And I'm not sure if this is, of course, there's more to come. So I got a couple articles here, as well as a couple people shared from the community, shared some information with me as well. So it's a lot deeper than these emails, but that's just what looks like will be the door opener for what could be coming pretty soon if things are released as I'm hearing that they will be. So we'll see. But yet, I want to find out your thoughts and see what you think. And so, as always, I want to go through some articles here. So basically, for those that, of course, is no way you could have not have heard about everything going on. And so I'll just start off with this here. And so this is that cover of the Post. And so what really made me question and wonder as to what this is all about, whether this is some type of surprise that we were all anticipating, or is it just a setup or a distraction? That's kind of the two primary words I want to use, whether it's a setup for something. And of course, until I see some handcuffs and see some indictments and see some people being hauled off to jail, I'm not going to read much into it. So I'm going to look at it as a distraction because the New York Post, I don't really follow them too often, but yet the New York Post, I would like to say, has primarily been more liberal in nature, more favoring the Democratic side of things, I think. Let me know if I'm wrong. And so for them to make this a primary story at this particular time lets me know that this is a part of some type of orchestrated plan by who, I don't know. I would imagine it could be the overseers of this current monetary reshuffle. But yet, once again, I think with this type of story here, trying to be placed as a mainstream story could also provide some cover for a crumbling economy, as well as those stimulus talks that don't seem to be going anywhere, and all the things that's happening under the surface with the layoffs. So as you've noticed, there's lots of layoffs going on across the country, but yet once again they're not mainstream now because I think this story here is being replaced. It's kind of being put in that place to kind of hide some of the real stories of what's going on. But Biden's secret email. So in a nutshell, I got a chance to listen to the story. So it sounds like some computer a while ago was dropped off at a repair shop, and just from the pictures, just from the video I saw, whatever, the repair shop looks very low budget, to say the least. And so the individual, the repair shop owner, I guess, has had the computer in his possession for a while, decided, in repairing it, decided to go through it and saw all types of things that he really thought that needed to be brought out to the light. And of course, there's, thousands of pictures, text, emails, and all types of things in the phone, which so happens to conveniently place Hunter Biden in as a direct link to all the things that he was accused of prior to now. And so, you tell me what you think about that. But what else we got here? So I see in the chat here, I see something about Barlight Broker says another BS distraction. Jim Diggs said it doesn't matter what they say, what they do never coincide. Very true. Life of a New Yorker here. Smash the like, brothers. Appreciate that. And so it says, where's so low? We got how much per gram? Probably collecting gold grams. Yeah. So I want to, and so from that, it looks like there's been more stories that came out. And so one of the community members sent me a tweet to True News that apparently is starting to release other information rather, and it has to do with a lot of things. And apparently everything, of course, is pointing back to the prior administrations. And so just in a nutshell, this is some stuff that's supposed to be coming out soon. And of course, I heard one of those interviews done with President Trump the other day mentioning that there's a lot more news that's coming out. It's going to be very shocking. And so I'm assuming they're hinting at this type of stuff here. But it talks about, Osama bin Laden, how that was all a hoax, how SEAL Team 6 was actually eliminated by Obama, Biden, Hillary Clinton. They were all in on that. And then, of course, you have more of the CIA whistleblower who I guess is the one who put all this information out there. And so it looks like all this information is about to be provided, assuming pictures. And of course, I heard voicemails and all types of phone messages and videos. So where does all that lead us into this November election? And I think personally it's a distraction because at this current moment, the information will not make mainstream news because as we are witnessing, all the too big to fail tech companies now are censoring every single thing that comes out that disrupts any type of progression from, I guess, their commanders in chief. And so the news will not make mainstream news evenly. Will not, Facebook is about, has already committed to taking down anything about the Biden situation. Twitter has banned the New York Post news source for posting it. And so between Facebook, Twitter, and I think Instagram, all the 3 or 4 primary mainstream social media platforms, they're censoring any type of truth that would rise to the surface, which would mean to me would basically make it irrelevant because the information can be out there. People can actually see it and still say, the heck with that, because the hatred is so deep for the current administration that they're going to just say, just to hell with it anyway. I'm going to vote regardless of whatever information is provided to me. So just the stuff I thought I would bring out there, man, and get your guys' take on it. So, and then of course I got some other things here about the IMF basically begging governments to begin to do more spending or else. So yeah. Anyway, if I'm going to open up the phone lines, give me a call. Let's talk for a minute. Curious to get your thoughts on all this matter, and we can talk a little bit. And so, as always, highlight at Rethinking the Dollar in the chat, and it'll stand out, and I'll definitely try to get to it. But yeah, JBW says SEAL Team 6 was sacrificed. So yeah, so I remember, and let's go back in time a little bit. I remember hearing the whole Osama bin Laden, a late night raid, and they showed some video footage, what looks like from some of the SEAL Team 6, like little, cameras from their jackets or helmets or whatever they were. And it was a late night raid into some village somewhere. And apparently they captured Osama bin Laden. Then of course, all the mainstream media showed Obama sitting at the table with his leather jacket on and, with the phone there acting like, some real deep stuff was happening. And the first thing that came to my mind was, That is a bunch of bull. I didn't believe it whatsoever. And what confirmed that for me was when within the next day or two, apparently when the ships were, I guess, heading back this way, they decided to dump the body off at sea. And I'm thinking, like, huh? Like, how does all this take place? And they decide to dump the body at sea, type of thing. So I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, man, it wasn't no body. And long story short, what I've heard since then by being in the alternative media realm is that Osama bin Laden apparently died of some type of illness or something like that well after the whole, Osama bin Laden raid and whatever. So he died apparently on his own terms. And of course, I think it was over in Pakistan or something like that. And apparently, it was something published in the papers over there mentioning that Osama bin Laden had died or whatnot, and he was considered more of a patriarch or a martyr in that region over there. So, other than just what I heard via main or alternative media news, so stuff like that never added up. And then the fact the whole SEAL Team 6 happened to disappear, all be eliminated. So that did not look good. So the question is, will that be enough? If that information came out and if it was factual, pure evidence that prior administration was in on it, Biden was in it, Clinton was in on it, at this point, would the American people care? That's the big question. And my personal opinion is no. I don't think the American people would even care. Just because of the current season we're in now, on top of all the financial and the financial as well as the political chaos and social unrest and stuff like that is still prevalent, but not being covered right now. So that's just my 2 cents, man. So I wanted to share that with you guys and get your guys' take on it. And then also got some other information here I want to talk about. And so it says, JBW says, War is Racket by General Smedley Butler. Okay, so is that, I'm not familiar with that. JB, is that a book or what exactly is that? KD said, they said bin Laden had a bunch of conspiracy theory books. So I remember that, Mike. They said they had an official Muslim burial at sea. Muslim folks don't bury people at sea. Oh, man. Osama bin Laden died in February 2001 of liver failure. Filming. Okay, if that could be the case. And so wherever you got that information from, definitely doesn't coincide with what the U.S. told us about him being killed during a raid in the middle of the night and dumped at sea. So, whatever happened to him for real, he could still be bouncing around. Who knows? But I think we all are convinced and we all knew nobody really believed that story. It says, told me evening. What was that? I missed some things. Hey, Natural Mama, hubby told me that evening silver cost went crazy low. Yeah, so I can touch on that for a minute. I saw the silver took a little bit of a dip, and of course, it's a buying opportunity. Rethinking It Out says it's a 50-page book on why we shouldn't fight banker wars. Okay. I'm not familiar with that, but let me look that up. Let me see. JB, do me a favor. Put the name of that book back in the chat, and I'll pull it up on the screen here. I'm curious to see what it looks like. And so Kenny says, I can't believe they rolled with that solo. No one ever questioned it. Yeah, man. Osama Civil Engineer, billionaire CIA. Okay, low blood pressure. So I've also heard scenarios of how, Osama bin Laden was a part of the CIA and he was trained over here, went to school over here and all that good stuff, which, once again, man, the lies are so deep. They're so deep and so long. I will be willing to take whatever you say or whatever comes through this chat as being more truthful than what we've been fed and what we've been told from the government. So, he could have had a PhD, taught at Harvard for all I knew, and decided to just go rogue and decide to so-called be the mastermind of that attack, which, of course, isn't the case. Dr. Mama says, do you remember silver price went down the night bin Laden died? I do not. I do not remember that. Does anybody, Natural Mama, does anybody out there by chance happen to remember the time of that midnight raid? Let me look it up real quick. I will be curious to I would be curious to find out what night that was, what year, what night. I think it was 2000, wasn't like 12-ish or something like that. Let me see if an old article pops up. Was killed. Okay, so that was May 2nd, 2011. Says, and here's what Wikipedia has: killing of Osama bin Laden. And so it says here, the founder and first leader of the Islamic militant group was killed in Pakistan on May 2nd, 2000, shortly after 1 a.m. by United States Navy SEALs of whatever. Okay, so May 2nd. So let's go to May 2nd real quick. Let's try to find the silver. Let me see if I can find the. Let me see if I can find silver prices. Let me see if I can go back. All data. Okay, so let's go back to May 2nd. Let me see if I can get this right. Go back. All data. Silver to the USDS. It's not working. 30 years. See if we can go back. All right, let me a second. Let me see if I can find. I'm curious to see what. Let me see. Silver price history. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm curious to see what that dip was because I don't remember. All right, so here we got macro trends here. So let's go back 10 years. So we go 2011. So let's see if we can get May. Okay, so we can't go too in depth, but it looks like, okay, so that was around the same time that was around the same time silver came down from its all-time high, more than likely. So what it looks like, I don't know the exact date, but it would definitely $44 or 40 in the 40s on May 2nd ish, heading down. And of course, we know what happened right after that. So it looks like that news of Osama bin Laden is what killed the silver markets. Oh man, good stuff there. Thanks for sharing that because I forgot all about that. What else we got here? Okay, so I've been doing enough rambling. Give me a call, let's talk. And then also I got a couple other stories I want to touch on. So the phone lines are open if you guys want to talk. And we can go there. We got Barlight Broker here. Appreciate the love art from my friend. It says for the chains. Okay. For the change. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Appreciate you, my friend. What else we got here? Okay, so while I wait on some people to call in and share your 2 cents on the matter. So basically what I'm trying to find out from you guys, distraction or set up for something else. Like, will these revelations of corruption in the political realm lead to something worthwhile or no? Or does it even matter given the monetary system where we're currently at financially? So curious to find out what you think on that. Let me know. And on another note, let me share some stuff here with you that I want to touch on as well. Here is something that we're going to see a lot more of. And so the International Monetary Fund is out there now. As of today, they came out with a special, or not a special report, but some type of report to basically show and to give some data as to what will happen if spending happens to stop now, as they say, before the full recovery is in play. And so the IMF joins Powell and Lagarde urging governments to keep spending. And so I was going to retitle this here and do something different here, but basically said IMF is encouraging or urging governments to keep stealing from savers, basically what this boils down to. Because the more spending, governments are broke. They can't spend what they don't have, but they sure can borrow and steal from future generations. But the accelerated spending that they're going to be encouraged to do will further speed up the theft to today's generation, never mind the future generation. It's going to steal from today like never before. And it's going to show up in the diluting of your purchasing power. Because I was basically going to say that all stagnant cash and fixed income assets will be diluted with all this additional spending. So that is one guarantee that we can all expect. So here's a little visual aid here of the central banks and how much has been spent thus far. And so as of now, with about what I think over 20% of the monetary base has been brought to existence within the last couple of months, we see that the U.S. has a lot more left of GDP to give up. But we have a call here. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, Steve from FEMA Region 9.
How you doing, my
California.
friend? How you doing? What's on your mind tonight? What are your thoughts about all this matter?
I think it's all crazy, but it's going to get crazier because as they say, there are no political solutions to spiritual matters.
Right.
And that's pretty much what it comes down to.
Right.
Hey, but I'm going to refer back to your program on Monday. I forgot to give it to you when I called in.
Yeah.
But if you go to as far as the society going to cashless, etc.
Yeah.
There was a credit union down in Southern California.
Okay.
It was, which one was it called? I forgot. There was a credit union down in Southern California that got a letter from the Fed basically saying that they were going to stop printing cash this holiday season. They were going to stop printing cash this holiday season. So basically, they're going to do it. They're going to do it like they did the coins of last year. Even though we still can get coins nowadays. Anytime you go into a store, people are looking at you sideways. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But that entire thing is on that ban.video.
Mm-hmm.
It's on there.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend that people monitor that site.
Yeah.
I know they banned Alex Jones a couple of years ago, and they did a good job on doing him in. But he was the test case, and they got everybody else after that. And now they're talking about going after Joe Rogan. So
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. So they're serious about what they're doing. But if you go to ban.video, the video is called prepare for the cash. No, prepare for the end of cash. Fed tells banks.
Okay, let me see.
But it's
okay. Go ahead. So I saw somebody mention that, but I couldn't find the article directly to go into it in depth. But I found it kind of odd that that was only for one credit union as opposed to any more. I haven't heard anything more of that, so I'll definitely look into it. Let me see if I can see it here.
Let me know, and I'll talk about something else that's in that same video that they posted. They posted the Australian girl because you know how they're clamping down over there.
Yeah.
Apparently there's apps. And this is on the same video.
Yeah.
There's apps on their phones over there, and this young lady wandered outside of her zone, or she didn't stay in her lane, as the guy from the Lakers dad used to say. Didn't stay in her lane.
Yeah.
And she went to the beach. And apparently this app told them where she was. They alerted her, and they went to the beach and arrested her. And they have it right there, and it's in that same video.
Yeah.
It's in that same video.
Okay, well, I will keep looking for it, and I appreciate you calling as always, but man, thanks for keeping us up to date. All right.
It's all good, man. It's going to get crazier.
Yeah, I do agree. Thanks for calling in, my friend.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Appreciate the call. So I did see it. I couldn't find that video, but I'll keep looking for it though. But that definitely could be the play, right into the new year, especially it's not necessarily something to look forward to, but what better way to head into the 2021 other than them creating some type of paper issue or sending out information saying that there's a paper shortage or people are now not using cash or whatever they're going to try to do to further escalate this whole push towards a digital thing, because we all know that's where that's heading. So, yeah, man, it's good stuff. It says war is a racket. Describes, okay, so that's what it's called. War is a racket. All right, I wasn't familiar with that. Let me look that up real quick. Curious to see what that looks like. All right, so here's the book that was mentioned via the chat. So War is a Racket is a speech by and a 1935 short book by Smedley D. Butler, a retired University, and two, based on his career military experience. Butler discusses how business interests commercially benefit, such as war profiting from warfare. Interesting. They should have a free copy on Google Books. I'll check that out. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, or to the audience's attention as well. All right, what else is going on? Okay, so let me get back to this video here. Not the video, but this little. So the IMF. Now the IMF is now getting on a bandwagon, telling the leading nations it's time to spend. And so, of course, they're blaming this whole coronavirus situation, but it's a problem well before then. So I'll highlight a few things here. And so it said Fed officials said their own tools, such as another round of bond buying, won't be as effective as government spending. So the message from the most powerful central banks is increasingly clear. There are limits to what monetary policy can do to help in the short run. Fiscal authorities can borrow at rock bottom interest rates and possess tools better suited to deliver a rapid and targeted boost. Will have to finish the job. So basically, I remember years and years ago talking about the moment, how this will, in a nutshell, how this will all come to a head. And I mentioned that it will be when monetary and fiscal policy collide. And that's what we're witnessing now. And so right now, the central banks are trying their best to hold off on unleashing that helicopter money or helicopter currency, and which could buy them more time, because they would just use that time in between to monetize all the debt that will be issued by the federal government. So as of right now, it looks like everything is on very shaky ground because they can't continue to preach that narrative of everything is recovering and everything is heading back towards a positive direction when there's going to be a large amount of employers after, as Leo mentioned earlier, after the election, there's going to be more layoffs than before as a way of reducing costs. Because if a lot of those companies don't get stimulated or get bailed out, ain't going to be no reason to keep it half the workforce. Yeah, man, good stuff. So let's keep moving. Got a couple more articles I want to talk about. It says, what is trash silver? I'm not sure. What are we talking about there? Their silver is trash. What else we got here? All right, here's something else. Here is an interesting study here that came out. It was just released. It says, new study pegs this current crisis costs $16 trillion. But the caveat for this is that, of course, on the surface, COVID is the way of telling the masses, or pointing COVID as the blame to the masses. But in actuality, as this article does a good job of telling here, it wasn't the dang pandemic. Like, the health side is one thing. It's the unilateral response by all central banks showing that it was a planned event to directly respond in the same way, which was to lock things down. And it's the lockdown that's causing all these problems, which lets me know that the unified approach to locking down the global economy was a part of the plan. It was a central banker's plan to get this thing revved up so that they can finish off the middle class and usher us into that so-called new world digital order that they want to throw out there. So once again, it's just interesting here that this survey here or report here talks about 16 trillion worth of wealth was lost when all the global economy shut down, which equates to, as it says down here, as the author points out, the losses translate to about 200,000 for a family of four. These losses will hurt American families, but poor families around the world will be hit even harder. And it says here, of course, as many as 150 million people around the world will fall into extreme poverty, defined by living on less than $1.90 per day. And so I thought about this number here, the amount of losses out of that 19, or what is it, 16? Out of that 16 trillion that was lost over, say, 3-4 month period of just shutting down everything, that $200,000 is a number that's greater than the average family income of 4 in this country. So so the way I translated that is that the long-term side effects of this short lockdown period will have ripple effects that will last the equivalent of what a family would probably make, equating to $200,000. So depending on, whatever part of the country, whatever part of the world, or whatever the family income level is, that 200,000 could easily be this year, next year's total combined possible income earned that was lost because of a job loss or loss of allocation of funds, or 3 or 4 or 5 years, depending on how much income was made prior to this current shutting down of the economy. So basically, there's going to be a long ripple effect for some time to come as a result of what took place for a couple of months, several months ago, and starting to pop up throughout the country and throughout the world now. And on another note, one thing that I would imagine a lot of people, and let me know if you have, i.e., put a thumbs up if you have, thumbs down if you have not. But I would encourage you, if you have not already, to Google, or not Google, just YouTube protests. And so, reason I say that is because here in the U.S., outside of the intentional and created social unrest due to all the radicals and all those paid for groups out there causing problems, as well as all the the police issues that's been taking place, has been highlighted by the mainstream media, of course. But there's a lot of genuine protests going on around the planet right now. And so Argentina right now, they're protesting in the streets. Costa Rica's protesting in the streets. Chile was protesting in the streets. And a lot of other countries are protesting in the streets because those nations were shut down, just like all the developed nations were shut down. Problem is, second and third world countries, they live off of $1 a day or $2 a day. Their economy is based upon tourism or exporting certain things that were shut down, and poverty has skyrocketed beyond what was already present in second and third world countries. So there's buku unrest right now in other countries that, once again, it puts us in the same boat as them. Be like, a lot of pissed off people here. There's a lot more people pissed off in other countries who never had anything. So to think about where we're at now, we're still blessed, still have opportunity to have some things to ourselves and be able to still function in this current economy for some. So just a little side note I thought I'll put out there. But anyway, I'm doing too much ranting. Give me a call. Let's talk. And I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on these matters. And so will we hear more about some letters, some pitch photos? And so I actually saw a video from Giuliani saying that, let me see, I actually got a little snippet here that, where'd it go? So here's an article here. Looks like Rudy Giuliani is really looking to ramp up the attacks on Biden. And so, of course, the time is considered highly suspicious that he's picking Hunter Biden, to really run with that at this current time frame. But in watching a little short video, he was saying that there's a lot more information that's coming out pretty soon, which whatever that means. And so my only concern is it's too late. If this is a part of draining the swamp of, as far as revealing all this information that's been there all along, and apparently the FBI knew about all this Hunter Biden stuff a year or two ago, and of course all those agencies are in on it. They all been infiltrated and working for the primary problem makers or issue makers, the deep state or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so I'm not surprised, but yet I would be more convinced that this would be a real set up for some real change coming if this was done 2-3 years ago. But because President Trump sat down and did nothing and talked a good game, talked about crooked Hillary and Sleepy Joe, and he talked a good game for several years. Now, a month before his, the chance of getting a second term, now all this stuff comes out now. Come on now, this is all distraction. This is all considered noise to keep us distracted off the fact that the economy is crumbling and there's going to be a lot of chaos, a lot of pissed people as the truth continues to come out as to how bad things really are. Okay, phone lines are open. So I see here, LB, low blood pressure trying to call in. So phone lines open. Give me a call, my friend. It didn't go off. What else we got here? UN 2030 at its finest, no doubt. Nancy is 80 years old? Yeah. So Rolf, on another note, it looks like I think a senator or something of that nature is trying to bring up some type of accusation saying that Nancy Pelosi is not fit to be to be in her position anymore because she's 80 years old and she's had a lot of mental lapses herself over the last couple of weeks that the mainstream media has done a good job of of highlighting. So yeah, man, this is turned to one big freak show, man. I must admit. So Army of One says great depression. Yeah, like so, there's no doubt we're in a depression now. All the indicators are there, all the stats are there. They're being covered up by lies. And, of course, it doesn't help where the president continues to further run his narrative of recovery, but yet we need this stimulus package to help the American people. Yeah, okay. But anyway, enough of me rambling. I got a couple more articles here. Let me see here. All right, I got something else I wanted to share here. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I pretty much covered it all. Anyway, so a couple more minutes, we'll get ready to dial back. And so phone-wise, I did miss a call. Forgive me. It did not ring on my end. BC and the Matrix, I need more stimulus. So here's the problem with the stimulus. Because stimulus will become the new norm because they can't take it away. Because as of now, it's 4 months since that first installment. Problem is, it's only peanuts. It's not even it's chump change, and the problem is I think the majority of America is so used to living off chump change or willing to accept chump change that it's not going to do much for you, really. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Pat from Alabama. How you doing, Mike?
Pat from Alabama. How you doing, my friend? Doing good. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, number one, I saw you wasn't getting a lot of calls, so I had wasted your time. But I was getting kind of depressed, thinking about there's been a lot of suicide announcements around here. And I mean, real sad stories. Now, I'm not relaying to depress everybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's time that we start up with the count of suicides. People aren't going to be able to handle this shit.
Yeah, very true. And that's one thing. That's one statistic I have not kept up with. So I don't doubt it's high. But yeah, and yeah, it's definitely the mental health side of things is definitely up there, and all the things that come with that. So definitely, that's another crisis within itself.
Well, you got people looking for somebody to help them, and there ain't no help out there, brother.
Yeah, I would agree, and that's why it's more important, like never before, to have a spiritual foundation of some kind, and that's one of the benefits of the church. Like right now, the more churches are able to assemble. And that's where you get into your word, you get with a spiritual leader or someone that's spiritually mature enough to help guide you through and encourage you and stir up your faith and stir up your joy a little bit. So that's, that would be my first choice right there, as opposed to going to.
You're in quarantine, son.
Oh, I'm not. I went to church last week. But I get your point, though. Oh, man. But hey, I appreciate you, man, for sharing your thoughts.
You see, they've isolated us where we can't get support from each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What can I say? At any rate, I just wanted to ask you, since you're there and you're just a real whippersnapper on that Google, go back 6 months and see what the national suicide rate was, and see what today's national suicide rate is. And I'll let you go, and you just have fun and think about it. But they're keeping us quarantined. We can't support the people we need to support that needs our support.
Yeah.
And there you are, bro. You're getting isolated.
Yeah.
It's starting to smack of tyranny now.
Yeah, definitely.
Y'all have fun.
Hey, appreciate you, Pat.
Okay.
Be good. Yep. All righty, let's keep it plugging along. Appreciate the call. And so, if the phone is not ringing, apart from that one call there, let me see. I got a call here. Let's see if this is.
There you go.
Hello, how you doing? Which name we calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure. Corpus
LBP.
Christi.
How you doing? Doing good, my man. I put the video chat out there, assuming you clicked that instead if you couldn't get in.
Oh, I got in a little late. I would have. I didn't see it, Mike.
I just put it out there.
Now you did it earlier.
No, I just put it out there because you said the phone wasn't ringing. It didn't show up on my side. So I'm like, well, it must be some type of disconnect. So join me face to face. But anyway, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hey, I must have missed it. I'm sorry. Do you know everybody's saying the middle class is getting destroyed? The middle class is getting destroyed.
Mhm.
I don't think that's happening yet, Mike.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people losing their jobs, but the people that aren't losing, maybe because it hasn't affected me yet, you know. But I think a hyperinflation has to hit, or at least 60% devaluation for the middle class to get devastated. Because I don't think if you still have your job, things haven't changed that much.
Yeah, very true. But also, you think about the typical approach moving forward. Like a lot of people, I would imagine, whatever sector, whatever industry you're in, you might be a little bit more cautious. You might be a little bit more hesitant to do your normal spending, the consumer items or trips or things you normally would do. Most people might dial back unless they have some substantial savings that they don't really mind that. But I think it's the consumer spending aspect of things, which will cut down a little bit, causing more problems in the middle class realm. But once again, I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out process. But we've witnessed over the last several years how the extreme rich have been getting richer, and those that work extremely hard have not been getting their a portion equivalent to the amount of work they've been putting in for the most part.
Yeah, Mike. I think once like a day's labor is gonna be a day's worth of food or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna work. It's not gonna be worth it. Like I was watching this thing on a guy in Venezuela. He sells hot dogs, out of a little cart, and in order to buy the hot dog, it's like $1.25 equivalent US. That's more than a day's labor. So if he sells one hot dog, that's like a whole day's work. And he can't even eat his own hot dog because of the cost. That's when things are going to be bad,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't imagine those hot dogs, like, where are you getting that meat from? Because those hot dogs could be old.
I didn't see any pictures around them for some reason. And he was at the plaza, so I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, man. But, yeah, so, things are definitely ramping up, man. And I'm just curious as to how all this political stuff now is starting to surface towards the end of his first term. Why now? Like, all this Biden stuff and Obama stuff and all this, SEAL Team 6 stuff was always there, but yet it's decided to make its way out to the surface now. And it's irrelevant now, man. I don't think it's going to do anything. I don't think it's going to sway anybody's vote. Everybody's right now emotionally pissed off and frustrated to where, yeah, I don't think it's going to help him at all if that's what he's going for with all this stuff coming out now.
Yeah, it's crazy, Mike. Which one? Who's going to make silver go to the stars? Because that's what I'm voting for. I don't need any more stimulus.
I think no matter what, the central bankers around the world will make sure that as a result of all that easing and stimulating and quantitative easing, that metals prices will have to definitely respond to that very favorably, I think. So it's just, and so I think it's too hard to tell, man. But definitely we know where it's going.
All right, Mike. It's good to hear. All right. Thanks for having me.
Be good, my friend. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, man. Mr. Low Blood Pressure. All right, people, let's get ready to dial back, man. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this and see where this is heading. Was this that October surprise or not? I don't find it much of a surprise because I think it's a distraction. But yet, once again, will it continue to build up? Well, between now and the next 3 weeks, will we get some stuff to be like, some jaw-dropping type stuff? I'll be curious to find out, but we will see. But anyway, people, it's been great hanging out with you. If you enjoyed the back and forth, enjoyed hanging out in the chat, definitely give a thumbs up. And for those that are new to the channel, all the free resources, the videos, interviews, and all that stuff is beneath this video here. And also want to make sure for those that are interested in the collector's coin, it's definitely still available. And so you can get your weight up. You know how to take advantage of that. And other than that, people continue to prepare, stack up on all the things you need, a little bit more than what you need, so that you'll always have enough. So other than that, I will see you guys later tomorrow, Lord willing. Be blessed, be safe, stay prayed up. Peace. Hey there, sorry for this interruption, but I wanted to bring something to your attention. If you've been enjoying this live stream, why don't you partner with me and be a support to the channel via Patreon membership for just a minimum of $5 a month. All you have to do is scroll down beneath this video here, click the Patreon link, then consider donating as little as $5 a month toward the channel. A little bit of crumbs can go a long way, and I appreciate your support. Now, let's get back to this live stream.